What is going on, everybody? Check down in the description below as my channel membership is live and you have the opportunity to join the comic book mafia. There's two tiers, $2.99 tribute where you can pay tribute to the Don and support the channel. Also a $5.99 tier where you become part of the comic book mafia. We're going to be doing monthly giveaways, live streams where we talk about accounting for our hobby, legal issues. We're going to have some of the biggest guests from 10 Questions on where channel members can speak directly to them. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Join the Comic Book Mafia today. Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week. New Comic Book Day, January 5th, 2021. Got a lot of good books from Marvel this week, as well as some cool indie titles. All that's coming up and more. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about the first appearances, the key issues, and the cool covers this week for New Comic Book Day, I got to do the normal spiel, right? If you're not already subbed up to the channel, do that now. Hit that subscription button. Turn on that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button if you like the video, and leave a comment below. So hang around to the end of the video. We're going to announce the winner of last week's giveaway. We're also going to show you the books for this week's giveaway and tell you what you need to comment below. So before we jump into the covers this week, I do want to shout out channel sponsor IRF Authentics. If it ain't signed, it ain't complete, or something like that. That's the way I like to say it. They've got a new box coming out here in January, the January box. And if you are a member of the Comic Book Mafia, you do get special perks over at IRF Authentics. I've linked them down below. Go check them out. All right, now let's jump into our covers this week. And I do have a few covers. The first one is Detective Comics number 1047, the Cover B variant by Lee Bermejo. Really dig this cover. I've said it on here many times. I'm a sucker for a red background. And so you've kind of got a red background here, and you've got Batman essentially dragging the Joker into Arkham. What I really dig about this cover is the Joker. I think it just looks sick. So yeah, this is a definite pickup for me this week, and maybe one you want to grab too. Our next cover comes from Dynamite, and that is Evil Ernie number 2, the cover A by Sudyam. Now, this is a homage cover to the Nirvana album Nevermind. That number 1 sold me. As soon as I saw the cover, I was like, yep, Nevermind homage, I gotta have it. But you know, that new Evil Ernie book came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'd heard about Evil Ernie, never read it. I read that issue, I really dug it, and I went back and I've started reading some of the original run, and it is sick. It's really good. So if you've never read it, I recommend it. I'm several issues in. I can't even remember how far I am in right now. I think maybe 12, 15 issues. But yeah, it's really cool, and I absolutely dig this cover. And wrapping up our covers list, we're going to stay over with Dynamite, and that's Jennifer Blood number 4, the Lucio Perillo cover. This is another one of those just kind of classic Perillo covers. He had done one a while back. It was a Miles Morales cover. It kind of had a great background. And this one kind of puts me in mind of that. And you got Jennifer Blood kind of pointing down with her pistol. I absolutely love this cover. You know, I'm a big Perillo homer, and this one definitely checks the box for me this week. All right, that wraps up our covers this week. Now, we normally jump over to second prints, but there weren't any this week, so we're going to go on over to our key issues. And as usual, we're going to start with DC. First up from DC this week is Batman 119. This is the conclusion of the 2-issue Abyss story arc, and you get the debut of a benefactor of Batman Inc. Now, it's unknown if this is an established character or new, so you want to stay on the lookout for this one for first appearance. Next up, we're staying with our Batman titles. We've got Detective Comics number 1047. This is the beginning of a 12-issue story arc called The Tower. And then wrapping up our keys from DC this week is Dark Knights of Steel number 3. Hands down, one of my favorite titles to read right now. There is a cover B on this one. I just realized I didn't put it on my covers for this week, but it's Superman all nighted out with the flag, Superman flag blowing. Absolutely love that. Tom Taylor is killing it right now on the titles he's writing, and he's definitely killing it on Dark Knights of Steel. So number 3 is out this week if you want to pick that one up. Now we're going to jump over to our Marvel keys, and first book up is Captain Marvel number 35. Now the solicitation claims that fans will lose their minds over this issue, and it's the biggest expansion of the Captain Marvel mythos since she took the name and claimed her stars. There's also a 1 in 200 spoiler variant, which could indicate a notable event. The solicitation for issue number 37 references a new force in the universe. So this could be a definite pickup this week. That last week Timeless came out. It's just kind of setting the stage for the Marvel Universe this year in 2022. Big things appear to be happening in Captain Marvel number 35 out this week. Next up, we've got Darkhold Omega number 1. Now, this is the conclusion of the Darkhold event, and the solicitation reads, "Who is their bold new ally? A product of Chiton's dark dimension. Marvel will introduce a new hero who will take the Marvel Universe by storm." So again, another book. Seems like Marvel's off to a good start this year. A lot of big things going to be happening. So Darkhold Omega number 1 is going to be a book to be on the lookout for as well. Then we have Elektra Black, White, and Blood number 1. Of course, this is an anthology of stories told by various writers and artists, utilizing only the colors black, white, and red. Now, this is a 4-issue limited series, and much like the books that come before it, you had the Wolverine, I think you had Deadpool. Then DC's even done this with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I haven't necessarily enjoyed the stories in these, but there are usually some pretty sick covers come out of these, so this may be one you want to check out as well. Another title wrapping up this week is Inferno number 4, and this is the conclusion of Inferno, which is the end of Jonathan Hickman's creative direction on X-Men that began with House of X, Powers of 10. Then we have Shang-Chi number 7. We get the origin of Jiang Li, Shang-Chi's mother, and specifically how she met Zhang Zhu. So a cool Shang-Chi title out this week. And then wrapping up our Marvel keys is Wastelanders Doom number 1. This is another one-shot Wasteland tie-in. Definitely looking forward to this one. Now these have been a little bit hard to find at my LCS. Last week I think it was Star-Lord, right? And then you had Hawkeye before that and Wolverine before that. You got Doom. Doom's one of my favorite villains in the Marvel Universe. So this is a must-have for me this week. All right, so that wraps up our keys from the Big Two this week. And before we jump into our indie titles, I do want to shout out my other channel sponsors, That Spider-Man Booth and Street Level Hero LA. I think most everybody knows who they are. Again, if you're a member of the Comic Book Mafia, we've got special perks for both those companies. And That Spider-Man Booth has got a definite presence on Whatnot these days. I've linked all those down below. Make sure you go check those guys out. All right, so for our indie keys, we're going to start with Aftershock, and the first one is Bylines in Blood number 1, and this actually looks really interesting to me. The synopsis reads, a former journalist investigates a murder in an effort to uncover the truth in a world where politicians invent their own facts and independent newspapers no longer exist. Kind of sounds like real world today if you ask me. Bylines in Blood number 1 is a definite read for me this week. Then we jump over to AWA Upshot and another book that I'm definitely looking forward to reading this week, and that is The Fourth Man number 1. This is a 4-issue series inspired by a true story about dueling car dealerships that left 3 men murdered. So that sounds cool. I'm all about a true story, or a story based around a true story, and I think that one sounds cool. Then we jump over to Cutaway Comics with Omega number 1, and this book comes from the world of Doctor Who and Bob Barker's Omega Returns. The people of the planet Minos are in revolt against their alien gods. The chaos is being stoked by the rogue god Omega, who longs to free himself from his black hole prison and wreak revenge. But babe Princess Malika, last of the Minion royal family, is determined to fight back. So if you like the Doctor Who stuff, Omega number 1's out this week. Now we jump over to Dark Horse, and we've got Apache Delivery Service number 1. 2 men hunt for a treasure in the jungles of Vietnam that was stolen by the Japanese during World War II and rumored to be protected by witches. Again, another story I think sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to reading this week, and I generally enjoy Dark Horse titles. So Apache Delivery Service number 1, again, another pickup for me this week. It'll be an expensive week for me this week. Now over to IDW, and we've got Transformers, The Best of Optimus Prime number 1. This, of course, are reprinted stories featuring Optimus Prime, and those stories include Transformers number 24 from 1987, Transformers number 23 from 2011, Transformers Autocracy number 9 from 2013, Optimus Prime 25 from 2018, Transformers number 6 from 2019, and Orion Pax Freefall from 2012. I grew up during that generation when the Transformers cartoon came on. It's definite nostalgia for me. Definitely going to pick this one up and check out some of the best stories of Optimus Prime. Next up, we go to Image, and we've got one of my favorite titles from 2021 from one of my favorite writers, Scott Snyder, and that's the NOCTERRA Special #1, which is the origin of Blacktop Bill, one of NOCTERRA's most terrifying creatures. And he is dope, really scary, cool character in that story. Can't wait to check this one out as well. Also from Image, and maybe the most odd title this week, and that's Monkey Meat #1. The Monkey Meat Company used profits from their processed food sales to turn their native island into a magical, hyper-capitalistic hellscape where even demons have to pay rent. That just sounds weird, but weird enough that I think I want to check it out. And then finishing up our key issues this week from the indie companies is from Uncivilized Books, and that is West #1. Mo and Sal live and work on a farm selling their harvest at city farmers markets, practicing magic and smoking herbs with their cat, Jinx. That's enough. I don't have to read any more. They're smoking herbs with their cat, Jinx. Now, I just wonder what kind of herbs they're smoking. I guess we'll have to read it to find out. But that's from Uncivilized Books, and that is West #1. All right, so that wraps up all our key issues this week. We're going to jump into our first appearances now, but before we do, I do want to do a member shout out, the very, very first member of the Comic Book Mafia, Legion of Comics. If you're not following Mark over at Legion, you're missing out. One of the most knowledgeable people on YouTube. He's a second generation collector. His dad collected his whole life, and Mark's kind of taken that passion on. And then you kind of get to see him share that with his kids as well. He does some really cool content. Sunday nights, he does at Week's End. One of my favorite shows to watch, where they talk about kind of the week's events, shows that have come out, movies, things like that, comic books, of course. He does a collaboration with the Comic Vet where they do, two hot picks, two cool guys, two hot picks, where they each pick their pick of the week. Very, very cool. Like I said, and he's got a new series where he's spotlighting first appearances, which I've really enjoyed. So go over, check out Mark at Legion of Comics. You will not be sorry. Now, with that member shout out of the way, let's jump into our first appearances. And we've got a few from DC this week. And the first one is that Batman 119 I mentioned in the DC Keys, where you had the debut of a benefactor of Batman Inc. And it's unknown if this is an established or new character. So you do want to be on the lookout for this one, just in case it is a first appearance of a new character. Then over to Detective Comics number 1047, and the start of that 12-issue story arc, we get the first appearance of Dr. Weir and the first appearance of Anna Volcian. And then over to one of my favorite titles right now, and that's Justice League Incarnate number 3. You get the first full appearance of the Nimrod Squad, the Earth 41 version of Image's Youngblood, and the first full appearance of Spore, Earth 41's version of Image's Spawn. So I think that's going to be cool. Cannot wait to check that one out. That's really been a dope story. Then we wrap up our first appearances this week with a couple of Marvel books, and probably my most anticipated first appearance this week, Thor number 20, the first appearance of the God of Hammers. Then we wrap it up with X-Men number 6, where we get the first appearance of Captain Krakoa, and it is later revealed in the issue who that is. I won't spoil it for you now. I know, but I won't tell you. You got to read it to find out. All right, that is it for our first appearances, key issues, and covers for this new comic book day, January 5th, 2021. Before we finish up the video, we have to announce our winner of last week's giveaway. So the books that we highlighted last week to give away this week was this beautiful Jenny Friesen Catwoman cover. Absolutely love that one. I hate to give that away, even though I bought an extra one to give away. I love this one. And this really cool Kane cover that I hadn't even spotlighted on my first appearances in Key Issue show, but when I got to the LCS and saw it, I just had to pick it up for this giveaway. All right, and our winner this week for those two books is Loki, and his comment was, once again, great showing. Away from Comic Talk, Anthony Davis, a Kentucky guy, very bright future for the NBA, but such a bummer how he turned out to be for my beloved Lakers. Hush your mouth, Loki. Anthony Davis is the GOAT, but he has stayed injured since he's been at the Lakers, and I do hate that for you guys as well. But AD is absolutely one of my favorite players in the league. So, Loki, congratulations, and thank you so much for commenting on the video. Hit me up on Instagram in my DMs, and I'll get your shipping info and get these books straight out to you. Okay, and for this week's giveaway, picked up again, like on this video, I like to give away a couple variant covers. And so this week I picked up this Matina Superman variant cover. This is the DC versus Vampires #3. Absolutely love that cover. Again, one I picked up an extra copy to give away here. And then this beautiful art germ cover. And what was this one? The Human Target #3. I've enjoyed this series as well. But yeah, I just love this art germ cover. I think it's gorgeous. So these were the books this week. You've got the Matina and the art germ variant covers that are up for grabs. And as far as the comment to leave, I don't know. What'd you do for New Year's? Did you stay at home like I did? My kids are at the point now to where we have a party at our house for our children. I watched college football all day, so it was kind of glorious actually on New Year's Eve. But let me know what you did on New Year's Eve down in the comments below, and that'll enter you into this week's giveaway. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming over and hanging out with me on the channel for a little while today. Really appreciate it. Make sure you check out our new membership here on the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel, the Comic Book Mafia. Join today. $2.99 tribute tier as well as the $5.99 tier. We've got exclusive merchandise for members, giveaways, all that cool stuff. I think it's going to be a really, really fun and good membership to be a part of. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thanks again. Have the greatest new comic book day ever. I know I'm going to. As we always end this thing, until next time.